And how did Milton's travels in Europe, which again you just mentioned, alluded to, influence his views and works? I assume that many of the countries or countries that he did visit were Catholic countries. Was that what influenced him?
Absolutely. So around 1637, 1638, he decides he's going to, and this is not unusual for a man of his social means. As I say, he's not an aristocrat, but he is well off, and so leisure to read and to study and to write poetry and to travel is an important part of Milton's life. And he decides to go to France and then mainly to Italy for over a year. Now, people have been a little bit stumped by this because, why would such a supposedly anti-Catholic figure like Milton want to go and visit Rome, for instance, and visit the sites of what he, a place that he regarded as in many ways tyrannical in its religious and political structures. But of course, I think it's precisely, he wants to witness partly what does happen to a country under what he regards as a tyrannical regime of Catholicism. And so I think partly he wants to go and visit and see what has happened to intellectual life in Italy. And he does in his great prose work, Areopagitica, which is probably his greatest argument for liberty of speech, free speech, which he argues that knowledge and ideas should be free to circulate and not suffer censorship before they're circulated. He talks there about going to visit Galileo in Florence. Galileo, the great intellectual, and had been put under house arrest by the Catholic Church for arguing that the Earth revolved around the sun. And he talks there, he uses the example of Galileo under house arrest on the censorship as an example of what's the decline, he said, in Italy that he encountered there in terms of its intellectual and literary achievements. So I think that's partly why he goes there, but he also, he really enjoys himself. Humanism is although it's very strongly identified with Protestantism in the 16th and 17th century, it also, of course, encompasses a great range of literatures. And, he's interested in, people who write Latin well, and they can be Catholic or Protestant or whatever. And so, he's friends with Catholics when he's out there. He's very proud when he publishes his 1645 poems. He has a series of letters and poems of praise from Catholic intellectuals who he encountered out there, who say that Milton is one of the great Englishmen of our generation. So, I think, although it might sound slightly trite, I do think it's important to distinguish between Milton's intellectual aversion to Catholicism, which he saw as a tyrannical religion, which prevented freedom of speech and freedom of thought, and also terms with and recognized for their abilities. So I do see it in the book. I present that period in Italy as absolutely crucial to both Milton's sense of himself, because he goes out there and other people think he's a great Latin poet and praise him, but also crucial to the development of his political positions and his religious positions about the need to avoid any sort of tyrannical regime being established in England like the one in Catholic Italy. Because I think he sees that on a selfish basis, he sees that as absolutely death to his own poetic ambitions to write a great English epic. He comes to believe very strongly in the relationship between an intellectually free society and the achievement of great intellectual feats, such as writing an epic poem like Paradise Lost.